Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 15 of the 21 Day Purpose Challenge. You're now 2/3 of the way through this. And trust me, the worst is over. You have completed the hard part, the heavy lifting, the steep part of the climb. So, as you mentioned, there's a completion bonus. So, if you complete the 21 day challenge by the 28th, which actually gives you a full 29 days to complete the challenge. But if you complete the 21 day challenge by the 28th, you're going to get a special bonus exercise. It's called Love on Purpose. So it's one thing to be on purpose by yourself, but it's another thing to actually be in a partnership that is purposeful, where you and your partner are both purpose aware, and you're creating a union that actually is of greater purpose, a deeper expression of both your purpose, your partner's purpose, and allows you both to kind of live the life that you want. So it's a supportive, purposeful partnership. So you're going to learn all about that and do an exercise to accelerate your ability to create your purposeful partnership. It doesn't matter if you're single or you're coupled. So just make sure you get all your exercises done by the 28th. And make sure you also take the MPQ, the Meaning and Purpose Questionnaire, and the Post-Challenge Survey so that you get your certificate and the Love on Purpose exercise. So, as we mentioned, this 21-day challenge is free, and we've got a bunch of other programs that follow after it that are not free, because this is what we do for a living as purpose guides. So before we get into today's teaching, I want to talk to you briefly just about two of them. So the first is the Challenge Plus, and so it gives you an extra 30 days access to the challenge, and gets you two one-on-one 40-minute coaching calls. So a Skype call or a phone call with one of the challenge co-leaders. And so what this allows you to do is to make sure you get the most out of the challenge. So your purpose discovery, deepening your tools for overcoming resistance, that understanding your ego parts, and then putting your purpose into action. So you get two live coaching calls, one-on-one coaching calls, to get all your questions answered about the challenge, about resistance to the challenge, resistance to living your purpose. It's a really powerful, incredibly value-priced program. It's only $97. That gives you two 40-minute coaching calls, an extra 30 days with the videos and the exercises. So the second program is the Psi Omega program. Now, Psi Omega stands for psychology and omega, like totality, like the whole. So what this program does is it gives you a deeper integration into your own psychology. So we're going to examine each of those ego parts. We're going to spend a whole week on the critic, whole week on the skeptic, whole week on the image consultant, the risk manager, the wounded child. So you're going to know them so well. You're going to have some new agreements in place. And then we're going to do, because we've created all this space by helping you understand each of these parts, there's new space available to mine new soul insights. So we're going to do a brand new soul discovery technology called the 20 years process. So this program, the Psi Omega program, will deepen your purpose understanding with not only the soul access technology, but now you'll have a deeper relationship with your ego parts. You'll have a powerful accountability framework, so you can be in integrity with your word, be able to create your life of purpose with your word. It's a really powerful tool, something that I use, that my girlfriend and I, Stephanie, use. And you'll have a lifelong connection with the other Psi Omega participants. So you'll have these 6 weeks together doing the group coaching calls, the one-on-one buddy calls, and the Lifetime Facebook group. And it's going to allow you to deepen your connection to your purpose, and you'll be in this community of people who all have a really high level of self-awareness, because you're all doing this work together. So this is a brand new purpose-aware community that you can then use as your kind of as your sounding board, as your people, to help live your purpose out in the world. So please go to planetpurpose.org and click on Academy in the main nav, and you'll get to explore Challenge Plus and the Psi Omega programs. So let's dive in today. So in your exercise today, you're going to use a powerful new tool to deal with resistance to living your life's purpose. Because now that you've found it, and now that you've got this ego structure starting to reveal itself, resistance is still going to keep coming up. Like, it's doing the last 6 days of work doesn't mean that there's not going to be more resistance. It's still going to come up. You're going to keep resisting everything, especially things that are new, things that are different, things that are purpose aligned. You're going to keep resisting it. And that's okay. But you're going to get a tool today that's going to help you create new agreements with your ego parts so you can overcome resistance. So I just want to share with you a story about something that happened to me recently. So during my 20s, I used to chew tobacco, and I gave it up like 10 years ago. But literally like 3 or 4 months ago, I started chewing again. And, is totally outside of my normal way of being. It was just something that, I was writing a lot, working a lot, and because I cut out all this sugar in my diet, making all these purpose-aligned choices, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just pick up a little bit of natural American, it's spiritual, the Native Americans used to smoke it. It's probably fine if I have a little bit. So what would happen is after lunch, I would start to crash a little bit. And, I don't want to drink coffee, don't want to eat sugar. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just throw a chew in. Well, sure enough, I'm full-blown addicted within a few weeks. And so I was like, okay, well, this isn't working. And not only is it, destroying my teeth and my gums, but I was hiding it. I was hiding it from my girlfriend, which is, to me, even more egregious than doing this silly, stupid thing. I was like out of integrity, and I was like, oh, this is now an integrity issue. So I went back in and, talked to each one of my ego parts, and I said, okay, where do I need some new agreements to make this so? So as you might imagine, my risk manager, or my Mr. Safety, was there, and he's like, what are you doing? Come on. But what I found in that conversation with him was that my need for pleasure was not being met because I was working so hard. I wasn't going out, just not doing all the fun things I like to do, not hiking, not singing karaoke, not being silly, not spending like free, fun, goofy time with my girlfriend. I wasn't doing those things because I was working. And so my need for pleasure, for fulfillment, not for fulfillment, but for enjoying my life started to creep into my work, and that's where the chew started to come in. So what I realized with my risk manager was that, I needed to stop chewing, but I couldn't just do that and just be a stoic about it. I needed to there was a legitimate need that was not being met in my life, the need for joy. So I started, planning my fun, as silly as it sounds. When you're working a lot, I guess you do have to plan your fun. So, booked a date night to go see a really fun movie, The Martian 3D, with my girlfriend. I put a karaoke night on the books, and just okay. Well, I'm gonna take an active role in my fun, because the last thing I want to do is to start, getting back into like little mini addictions, so I can have fun and work at the same time. So that was how I used my my exploration with my risk manager to illuminate kind of what was happening, like where I was out of alignment. I was essentially resisting my health by poisoning it with tobacco. So today you're going to get a chance to play with your agreements and your ego parts. But first, I want to share with you a really powerful quote, one that I think is just as relevant now as it was when it was said. And it's an African proverb. And yes, I'm aware of the irony of having an England shirt on while I'm speaking an African proverb. If we do not initiate the young, they will burn the village to feel the heat. So as you probably know, we live in a global society, a global village with very few elders. Lots of biologically mature people, but not soul initiated, not folks who know their purpose, not folks who are performing a generative service on behalf of humanity or the planet. So we have all these like pseudo initiation things, like I was in a fraternity. We have sports, we have Tough Mudders, triathlons, all these kind of drinking a bunch, all this kind of stuff, because humanity craves it. Even during the '60s, we started to crush out the the initiations, we're still initiating, and it's happening in like these really bizarre ways. Very destructive, oftentimes, leading to death. People jumping off bridges and buildings and doing all sorts of things to kind of prove themselves. And I did a number of those things, and I'm very lucky to be here. So without some kind of initiation, the youth, myself included, just want to experience, just want to feel the heat, unless the elders structure an experience so that they can feel the heat of their own soul in a way that initiates them into this new way of being, into this new purpose-aligned way, it's going to keep going the same way. So the youth are still going to keep, engaging in risky behavior, doing lots of drugs, binge drinking, beating each other up, all this kind of stuff. And this work, even though it's, just the beginning, just a 3-week online program, is the beginning of that. You've been harvesting new soul insights. I got to say, we beat you up over the last six days. Like, that was an initiation of sorts. I mean, you got to look at yourself in a way that you probably don't do all the time. And tomorrow, you're going to start to harvest some of these insights in this new space created. So this is the orientation I'm going to urge you to consider, that what you're completing today and what you're completing in this challenge is an initiation. You put yourself through hell. 21 days of rapid fire purpose challenge exercises. And you will be initiated soon as somebody who has completed that, somebody who knows that they can do hard work for 21 days and get through it, to deal with their resistance, face their fears, and choose purposefully, keep harvesting new insights to choose purposefully. Now, initiations are important, incredibly important, especially, when they're done well. But that's not all there is to it. I mean, you have to be actually in community of other people who are soul initiated, or at least committed to it. So this is where sitting in circles can be really important. So there's a number of great circling technologies and methods out there. The Mankind Project and Woman Within are men's and women's circle groups, respectively. They both have training programs as well. Highly recommend those. I've been part of the Mankind Project for 10 years and have sat in a number of different circles. It's super powerful for keeping this conversation alive, keeping you accountable to your mission, to your purpose, and using the safety of the container and the skill of the facilitators to help you see where you're out of alignment, where you're lacking integrity in some regard. So I highly recommend, when this challenge is over, consider doing the MKP and Women Within weekends, and then sitting in a circle. So that's all I have for you today, challengers. Great work. You should still be kind of marked from your initiation. It's going to get better. So now we begin this giant kind of 6-day upswing. So this whole week is about putting you back together, like getting you in this place of purpose-aligned action. So keep at it. See you tomorrow.